Hey everybody, TacBishop here. I'm out here today going to do a pre-trip inspection that a lot of people have been requesting. There's two kinds of pre-trip inspections. There's one that's the BS kind, what I call it, where you do for the license examiner when you first get your license. That's where you go through and touch everything and tell them that there's no illegal wells and no damage, and all that, just try to bore the examiner to death so you can get your CDLs. Now, the one I'm going to do today is the one that's actually going to make your truck safe, make sure that it's ready and road ready, and so you won't kill anybody and mainly kill yourself. Maybe if you're an over-the-road driver, you have a lot of time to kill looking through your truck, inspecting slowly, but if a man is paying you on the clock to DOT to make sure this truck is safe, he wants you to do it in a professional, flowing manner, get it done right. Do it in an order that you can do it every time so you won't forget anything, and do it in a way that even when you get in a hurry, you can still flow through the whole truck, check everything, and be safe. Because if you start skipping around like I've seen other videos, you're going to forget something. So what I do is go from top to bottom. I'm going to end right here with this bolt on the front spring. I'm going to start right here with the smokestack. Look at the chrome stack, it's connected. I see a weld, it's welded up there properly. It's connected properly to the truck and the truck mount. The catwalk is clear and good, and the frame is good on this side. Light here is good. Door, back at the top again, the windows, everything looks good on this side. Come back up here again to the top. Start with the mirror. Mirror, window, door, mirror connected. Handrail connected, fuel tank connected properly to the frame, the gasket here, or the rubber, there's a rubber pad in there that keeps it from rubbing metal on metal, but that's in good shape. The frame and the steps are good. Alright, now I'm going to open the hood. Just stand right there. Open the hood. And notice I'm trying to go all in one motion without a whole lot of round and round around the truck. Start back up at the top again. Notice that light over here is not cracked. The windshield is good, and the windshield wiper. Right down into the air filter is connected good. The stand right over here. Air filter, the windshield wiper reservoir. Right on down, looking through all these parts. The manifold, looking for any missing bolts or any frayed wires or hoses. Just real quickly make sure the turbo's connected, all these hoses are connected. Then we go right on over to the alternator, air conditioner, the hoses, everything looks good. Radiator hoses at the top look good. Radiator and the coolant reservoir, you can smell, make sure there's no coolant smell, check for leaks. And these have indicator glasses that you can check your levels even as it's hot. This one you can open it because it's cool, and it has the cap that won't let you over tighten, or you know it's tight. And something I've always done, this is going to sound crazy, when you do add fluid, you take this off. I have laid them on the tire, and you wind up, sometimes you're going to drive off and run over your cap. Take this cap and put it in the floor of the passenger side or something, so in case you do happen to forget when you're going to get your fluid that you won't run over your cap. That's just some of my crap. And this one particular thing on these internationals, if this thing gets to a certain level in water, it'll shut the entire engine off. It's a safety feature. It doesn't care if you're in Chicago at 5 o'clock Friday traffic. If you don't have enough water right here, it will shut this engine down, and you're going to have to put some water in, so this has got to be taken care of. So the belt is good, it's not frayed or worn. Right on down into the axle, this side of the axle, and this side of the tie rod over here. Then you go right into your leaf spring, give it a good handshake, check your shock absorbers, make sure everything's connected right. Right on down into your air chamber. Make sure that you're going to have to compare this chamber with the other chamber, make sure they're the same size. And this is only if you're in a new or a strange truck to you. If you're driving the same truck every day, you should know that it's okay. All right, go down and run into your wheel. Make sure that all these Carter castle nuts are on. The brakes have 1/4 inch on the pad. There's no grease or no oil leaking inside. Come up here to your tire depth, 4/32. That's good. Right on down into these lug nuts, as they call them, but they're actually called wheel fasteners. And the rim's good. There's no, you can see rust trails sometime, indicating that there could have been a leak. I mean, a loose nut, but you just check them all with your hand. Make sure everything's good. And then we'll go over to the other side. As I check that mirror on the front, then I'm going to come back here, start back at the top again, kind of look through these lights. The air shield there looks good. Windshield is good. Windshield wipers. The fuel filter. All these wires look okay. And this is the most important part to me on a truck. More important than the oil or anything else is this steering mechanism from your steering wheel right down through your universal joint, right down the shaft. Make sure all these bolts are in place and tight, because if you can't steer, you're through. Your steering box goes right down into your pitman arm. Then you have a castle nut here. Has to be a castle nut, has to be a pin on it. Make sure your seals are good. Your drag link goes right into the steering arm. Like I said before, compare your air chamber over here. Make sure they match up and your air hose is still good. But like I said, this is the most important part, and I think people just blow right over this. You can go back to the top of the engine, look through real quickly, check your oil, check your blades, make sure all your blades are on, your power steering fluid, right down to your bumper, this tire, the depth, the inside, the pad, again the fasteners, no leaking, and then right up into the, now we're going to go up into the engine. I'm going to turn on all the lights and start the truck, and you should be, the air pressure is low in this truck, so you should be getting the low air warning buzzer after I start it. That's the low air warning indicator. I hope you can hear it. I know that's working. Okay. As that fills up, I'm going to check the lights. Flash is working. Headlights on. Wheels good. Mirrors connected. Everything's good. Bumper. No license plate. Headlights. Mirrors lights on the top. Back to the top again. Here. Window. Door. Fuel tank. Gas in the fuel lid. Everything's good on this side. Back to the top again. Now, everything's good. Flash is working, flash is working. Back here. Airlines, this truck isn't hooked up, but airlines are good. Connected. Supported with spring supports on the brakes. Make sure it's strong enough. That's good. Now you're going to check your back tires. Check your front leaf spring and your air chambers, drive shaft, and the universal bolts. There's a bad tire right here. That should be replaced. Right into the brakes, spring, mount, airbag still pumping up, handle. Check your fasteners again, check for any leaks. Check in between the tires, make sure there's no rocks or bottles or anything in between the tires. Pump all your tires, check your tone, make sure the tires They all sound the same. Preferably stick them with a airbag if you have one, especially on a strange truck to you. Go back here to your leaf spring. This needs greasing. This car's in bad shape too. Lugs, fastener, mud flap. Run into your shocks and the back springs. You see the airbag starting to pump up now. You check the rear. You can't check all this stuff a lot of time when the trailer's on it so easily. Check all these hoses, make sure everything's good, make sure your brakes are good on all. And just like here, everything's clear. Check the fasteners again. All the tires look good on this side. I don't see any wheel seal oil leaks or anything. I want to talk about these lights here real quick and the kingpin. These lights have to work if you bobtail. Have to. If they don't work, if one of them is out, the man will shut you down if he catches you. Now you can drive with one out, providing your trailer lights are working. You'll still be in violation, but you won't get put out of service. If you're bobtail, this one light would put you out of service. I want to talk about his fifth wheel in just a minute. Fifth wheel in the kingpin. I talked to a DOT officer, and he said that about 3% of the trailers that he's inspected, they will high hook this pin a little, and the kingpin will sit on top of this piece instead of being down here like it's supposed to be and latched with this jaw. And all it takes is one good bump and the entire trailer will come unhooked. So when you do hook your trailer, you need to make sure that these jaws are locked around your kingpin and there's no space between this fifth wheel and the trailer. Can be no space there at all. It's got to be completely tight. You know, if there's anything there, you have to redo it. I'm gonna look over here and I'll show you the kingpin. There's the kingpin. This piece can fit in that little socket I was talking about. This jaws should be latched all the way around the kingpin. And when you do hook it, get under the trailer, look, make sure the jaws are locked around properly. There's no space between this and the kingpin. And get in the truck before you roll up the landing gear and do a tug test, which would be to release your cab brakes, the yellow brakes. Give a good hard pull, make sure you don't pull out from under it, and then come back and here we are. Again, now we're on the inside of the cab. Make sure your seatbelt works, sun visors. Your defroster has to work in case you have to run into some kind of weather. Make sure all your gauges are working. You notice now we're up to over 120 psi on the air gauges. Oil pressure's up, water temperature's still moving, voltmeter's okay. And then we're going to cut the lights off. We're going to push in the brake. You can listen for the brake to actually charge the system. I would push in both of them, or we're not hooked to a trailer. So here charging the system up. Alright, now you're going to hold down your foot brake to see if there's any air chamber leak. You have to listen, watch these two gauges for droppage, and if there's any air leaks that you can hear with your ear. Okay, there is an air leak in this truck. I'm holding down constant pressure. It's dropped down to 90 psi and continuing to drop. So there is a problem in this truck somewhere. Like I said, this is an old truck for sale. It's not going to be driven by me anyway. I would not drive this truck with the tires and this air leak. I would not drive the truck. Look at the air gauges. So they're all the way down to like back up. There's the gauge right here. all the way down to 70 PSI and 90 in the other. I can still hear the air leaking, so this truck is not safe to drive. But I'll go ahead and continue. Can you get that on camera?
Okay.
I need to check and show you how to check, make sure this pops out. You just fan your brakes. I've already checked the buzzer. This is supposed to pop out on its own when the air pressure gets low. And there may be a problem here too with that. That didn't pop out like it's supposed to. So that's not right. The truck is not safe to drive on the highway, but that's the way you would do this. And now we go to my DVR report. Okay, now we have to fill out a DVR report, driver's vehicle condition report. I'll have to write out these tires on this report. Some of them are different. Some have all the parts listed that you would check off. This one does not. This one just has it's satisfactory to drive or it's not satisfactory to drive. I would check not satisfactory to drive, and I would list in here all the, is that too close? I would list all the parts here, the tires that are damaged and the air leak on here. Then I would sign off on it saying that these things need to be fixed before I drive the vehicle. Then I would turn this into the mechanic. Then the mechanic would have to come out, fix all the problems, or he would have to say this truck isn't fit to drive, and he would have to sign off on it, and it's still my final decision if I decide to drive it or not. But once you fill out one of these and say that there is damage to the truck and it's not fit to drive, you do have to have a mechanic to sign off on it. And and then the same thing if you come over here with the trailer. Trailers are the same thing. Same thing as that. You know how to inspect one. Just go down when you get your lights on. Just walk down the trailer, inspect everything like you're supposed to. The tires, the frame. But just keep it moving, all in one motion. Don't run around and check the tires and then go back and check the wheel lugs and or the fasteners and the mirrors. Just do it so you can do it all quickly in one motion, whether you have a trailer or not. Everybody knows how to do a DOT inspection. Just doing it in order and a flowing manner is what I'm trying to make. So anyway, I think that'll do it for me. This is TacBishop, and I'll see y'all later.